Yes, 1 2 1 2. Yat Edo, yeah, Shiked, oh, Shedene. Thank you for bearing with us as we waited for others to join in. But today, Thursday, we will discuss our updates on the COVID-19 pandemic. This is our bi-weekly update, our town hall. So as we always do, we open up with prayer, and then we'll immediately pass it on to our president, Jonathan Nez, who's out in Pinon with the OPVP team, and they are passing out food and boxes and whatnot out there. So our prayers be with them and the team as they're out there. Protect them. So let's go to the Lord in prayer. God, God, we give you praise this morning. We ask you, Holy Spirit, to be with those that are out there in Pinon, Lord, gathering and giving. Lord, Father, bless those that give, and Father, those that receive as well, for they are needed supplies, food, bless the food, the cleaning supplies, Lord, and the PPE, Father. Use it for what it was intended, Father. From the goodness of somebody's heart far away they gave, Father, and Lord, bless them. Thank you for this time, Father, in this meeting, Lord. I pray that many would hear the meeting and heed the call, Lord, Father, as we enter another 57-hour weekend curfew, Father, designed to keep our people safe, Lord, designed to minimize the threat of COVID-19 coming upon our people, our most vulnerable. So be with them all, Lord. Be with our elders. Be with those that would have predisposed health conditions, Lord. We pray that nobody more would succumb to this virus, Lord. We thank you, and you know all things, Lord, and we pray for your protection. We thank you again, and we ask for your wisdom, Father, to flow uninhibitedly to all leadership across the land. Be with our President of the United States. Be with our President of the Navajo Nation. All leadership across the 574 recognized Indian nations, Lord, abroad the land. So we thank you again. Bless them all and keep them. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Now at this time, we'd like to pass on the message that will be given to our President, Jonathan Nez, out in Pinon, Arizona. President, take it away.
Thank you all for joining us for the Thursday town hall meeting. As you can see, we are not in Window Rock right now. We are in Pinon, Arizona for food and supply distribution, and they're just ready to start here. So those of you that are around Pinon, come on by. We got the Army National Guard here, the Air Force, Navajo Department of Transportation, and also Office of the President and Vice President staff, and then also the local Pinon chapter, the local chapter manager. So this afternoon at 3 o'clock, we will be at Fort Defiance Chapter House at 3. So those of you that are in that area, the vicinity, come and join us. So this will be the 108th chapter. Yeah, 108th chapter Pinon, and then 109 will be Fort Defiance chapter, and then tomorrow we'll be in Tuba City at the fairgrounds. That'll finish off the 110 chapters. As we've been mentioning, we've been doing the most rural communities throughout the Navajo Nation, those that don't have the means to get to a supermarket pretty quick. And these are the larger chapters that we're visiting today, because they have supermarkets, they have convenience stores close by. So that's how we've been doing it. And we work with the local community health representatives, CHRs, and the public health nurses, and that network is there with the Health Command Operations Center. And so what we do here is we get get information from the CHRs, all the high-risk patients, the elderly in the community, and they call them up and they tell them to be up here at these food distributions. And that's how we've been doing it throughout these several weeks. And, you know, we want to get the elders and the CHR patients, get their food as a priority. Of course, we opened it up. You don't have to be a chapter member. Just come here until, you know, the food and the supplies are gone. I mean, but we've been thankful and grateful that we've had just enough for everyone. Yesterday we were in Ojo Encino, and then we were in Upper Fruitland, Ninahnazad, and San Juan. We're Northern Agency, and now we're here. And 3 o'clock today we'll be in Fort Defiance, and then we'll be in Tuba City tomorrow in the morning. I'd say we'll be there about 9 or 10. Well, we'll let you know. So just to give you an update on the numbers, 46,449 of our Navajo people here living on the Navajo Nation have been tested. And that's 22.6% of our total population being tested, more than any other state. And I'm going to keep saying that. More than any other state in the United States, more than many countries throughout the world. We got 22.6% of our Navajo population tested. So we are testing aggressively. But as you notice lately, the numbers have been, you know, flattening out. And thank you so much, everybody, for the hard work that you're doing. But we can't let down, right? Don't back down. Let's not let down. We got to continue to wear our mask, continue to social distance, continue to wash our hands with soap and water. We can't reiterate that enough, ladies and gentlemen. That let's continue to do it. I mean, when you go out, make it a habit. Put on a mask. Studies and experts out there have said that wearing a mask stops the spread of COVID-19. And as you see throughout the state of Arizona, local cities and towns are starting to mandate that. You know, we started ours back in April, right? And you can see many people, when you're out in public wearing these masks, you can see a lot of folks, even in this line, wearing masks. And so keep up the good work, everybody. Don't back down. Let's keep moving forward and telling our relatives about the need to wear masks, social distancing, washing your hands. 6,747 have tested positive. That's from the start to now, right? Start to now, 6,747. So half of our, close to half of our COVID positive, 6,700 have recovered. 3,342 have recovered. And we're getting data and information coming from these 12 service unit areas throughout the Navajo Nation. And sadly, 322 of our Navajo relatives have passed from the virus. We continue to let them know as well that we will one day see our loved ones again. As I see the news and as I see in this state of Arizona, our numbers, and I want to reiterate, our numbers are flattening out, going down. The last 3 days, they were under 100. I think yesterday, it kind of spiked up, but flattening out. And it's because we're wearing masks and we're telling everybody about the things we hear from these town hall meetings and from our doctors and nurses, our healthcare facilities, going door to door, educating our Navajo citizens. And it's because of all of us working together. And I want to commend you. I want to say thank you to everyone for listening to the professionals, listening to the leaders. But outside, high cases. It's good. It's getting up there, especially in Phoenix. And that's one of the reasons why we reincorporated the 57-hour curfew. I know we didn't want a lockdown. I know people say it didn't work. Hey, 8 weeks of it, flatten out the curve, plus all the other stuff we're doing, So it's not fair that you say that, people say that it didn't work. The safest place to be is at home. If you lock down the nation, they're at home. They're the safest place. So it worked. And other governments out there are trying to do the same. And so this weekend, from Friday at 8 p.m. to Monday at 5 a.m., there'll be a curfew, lockdown. We just got done with the meeting. There'll be checkpoints throughout the Navajo Nation. So I warn you now, there are going to be checkpoints. For our visitors that are coming through the nation, you all need to understand that the nation is in a curfew. And no gas stations, no food places, no businesses will be open this weekend. So you need to get your fuel, you need to get your food, and just pass right on through this nation, please, our visitors, ladies and gentlemen. Just pass on through. And we require masks here. Please honor and respect our laws and our regulations here on the Navajo Nation. And so just go on, pass on through. Our people are going to be at home during the weekend. And it's going to be 2 weekends, ladies and gentlemen. We also have a travel advisory. We beg you, we ask you, we plead with you, do not travel off the Navajo Nation. There are hot spots all over. Phoenix, you saw the news going up. 80+% of their healthcare system is being impacted. That means there's so many people going to the hospital needing healthcare. And what I fear is if we don't follow through on our guidelines, we may go up in COVID positive. And if we start going to the hospitals again, we were fortunate that our friends and our partners off the Navajo Nation took on a lot of our Navajo people that needed immediate and specialized health care. But since they're going up over there, and if we go up over here, they might not take our relatives because they're dealing with a big surge right now. And so let's work together. Let's keep this number flat. And it's all about wearing our masks, ladies and gentlemen. We had meetings with the Department of Health and Human Services Secretary Azar. I mentioned the same things that I've been mentioning to you during these town hall meetings, is that we're concerned, we're monitoring the outside of our nation numbers. They're going up. And so we're trying to keep everybody safe, keeping our Navajo people safe, our visitors safe, and that's why we're doing these public health orders. We talked to Chairman Raul Grijalva about the need for the Navajo Utah Water Rights Settlement Act to be approved in Congress. And we need that for the Utah Navajos, to get them running water, to give them infrastructure, to get them the water needed to help fight off this virus. We also spoke to Sharice Davids, a Native American woman that's in the U.S. House of Representatives. Gave her an update, and she did tell us that she would help to extend the December 31st deadline for the CARES Act funding. The CARES Act funding ends, and we got our money late, as you all know. 8 weeks later, when the CARES Act funds were approved by Congress, signed into law by the President of the United States, and it was just sitting there, Department of Treasury. The tribes throughout the country had to come together and, file a lawsuit. That mentions to the Department of Treasury that they need to get these monies out. And it took 8 weeks. And that was only the first allocation. That was only 60%. And that 60% for all the tribes, $600 million came to the nation. You know what, ladies and gentlemen? The 40% that was remaining just barely came in 2 days ago. And so that's a concern for all, not just Navajo, but for all tribes throughout the country. And they set some money aside for Alaska Native Corporation just in case they lose the lawsuit. I mean, come on. The money was intended for Indian people, Native Americans, and their government. So it should be. Now, I want to say thank you to the judge. The judge knows the law that told Treasury the monies need to go out to the Indian tribes. Thank you so much, Judge, for following the law. And so right now, today, the Nabikia Committee, we have introduced a legislation that we support, 0116-20. Thank you so much. Over 2,500 people have signed a petition to support that. We have so many comments and emails that support the 0116-20 legislation. We have chapters out there that have passed supporting resolutions as well. So we're going to be packaging that up today and sending it over to the council members because the Navajo people want that legislation to be approved so we can start spending $600 million, set aside our differences, politics, and the old politics, and to move forward. Today, ladies and gentlemen, this week is a critical time in our history. And I said this on Tuesday. Do we move forward for the people, or do we go backwards and let the old politics come back into the government? Vice President and I, we campaigned on moving past the old politics. We didn't ask for endorsements. Nobody was endorsing us because we wanted to be able to fight hard for the Navajo people without any type of old politics influence. You know what? Old politics is starting to creep back in, and we don't want that. I want to say thank you to all the council delegates who supported this legislation. Chairman Jamie Henio, thank you. Chairman Ricky Nez, thank you. Edmund Yazzie for being the prime sponsor. Thank you, Delegate Yazzie. Thank you to Herman Daniels, the delegate out of Shanto, Oljeto, Navajo Mountain, Tsapikin. Delegate from St. Michael's, Edison Wanika. Pernell Halona from the Tehachapi region. Thank you so much for sponsoring the bill. Key Allen Bigay, that's just down the road here. Cottonwood, Satana, all the way into Mini Farm. Thank you for your support of this bill. And there are many others that are going to be signing on. Go to the website, check out who all signed off on it. I had the list, I left it in the vehicle, but I think I got everybody. There was some that said that they were going to sign, so we're waiting for them to sign the legislation. So, now's the time to contact your council delegates and have them support 0116-20. And thank you to Paul Begay from the Tlachi area, that whole region. Thank you for signing on to this bill as well, Paul. And, we can get this passed. There shouldn't be any changes to it, right? It's a comprehensive approach. 50.5 million will go to the CXRs. There was CXR here today for their hazard pay, the police officers. We just allocated $3 million from the BIA monies. Well, it was a total of $4 million. We gave $3 million to our public safety. It's earmarked for them for their hazard pay. And you know how we are at Window Rock. Still going through the process, still going through from one division to the next. But BIA, the Fed said, you can use that money for hazard pay for public safety personnel. $3 million of that. 1 million, total of 4 million. That 1 million, we earmarked that for personal protection equipment, masks and gloves, shields for our first responders that are here, CHR, senior centers, So I want to tell our law enforcement, I know you all are overstretched, overworked now, especially now going back into a 57-hour curfew, 2 weekends in a row. But on behalf of the Office of the President, Vice President, we say thank you. I've always have supported our law enforcement, even when I was in the Budget and Finance Committee, the Vice President, and now, supported our chief, supported our division directors, and people are looking towards us. But I always say to the people too, we can't just go and quickly call the police. There are some situations that people can resolve. We can't just be quick to picking up the phone and calling the police if we have the ability to resolve that issue. To talk things out. Some of us grew up in an era where the local leaders used to come together at a chapter house when there was an issue between family members, and they would talk things out. That's where the peacemaking concept comes in. The win-win, not the adversarial, like the judge, somebody wins and somebody loses. We need to reincorporate that. Use our leaders, use our chapter officials, use our council delegates to help resolve problems. They're elected because people put faith in them, and they can help facilitate a win-win between family members. It can't just always be to the police officers. And I've been saying that in many graduations, these new recruits, when the police academy came back to the Navajo Nation, run with the recruits. I've been running with the recruits, speaking at the graduations. So the support is there. I know that we vetoed a $2+ million legislation, but we can't spend money now. There's so much uncertainty. $30 to $50 million is gone, right? Because of the closure of NGS and Peabody. And now's not the time to go on a spending spree. That's why CARES Act money that came into the Navajo Nation through the BIA, $4 million, we easily put that aside for our police officers. And they got more than the legislation that we vetoed. I think it was 2.4 million. We earmarked 3 million. So I just want to let our police officers know, I know you're stretched thin, but we really need your help. This weekend, the county sheriffs, the county deputies will be helping us these next 2 weeks with these checkpoints. Navajo police, of course, they're going to, be the lead. But the counties are going to make sure that our visitors adhere and abide by the Navajo Nation laws, policies, and regulations, the public health orders. Wear your mask. If you're going through the Navajo Nation, gas up, fully gas up, get your food, and go right through. Because there's going to be a lot of people probably going from Phoenix from Flagstaff all the way to Page so that they can get to the lake. And since they're not mandating masks up in Phoenix, we need to let those individuals know, our visitors know, with all due respect, that we have our own laws. We're a sovereign nation, and we have the ability to govern ourselves and govern those that cross our lands. So please, visitors, respect that. You know, we could easily just roadblock, and then everybody's going to be up in arms about the travel, and nation can't do that. Nation can put roadblocks in, but we respect and honor everybody. Please respect and honor us here on Navajo. We take this virus very seriously because it hit us hard here on the Navajo Nation. And now all the people around us are getting hit hard, and we're praying for you. We're praying for you that, you know, we all come together and overcome this virus that has really peaked in places all around the Navajo Nation. U.S. Census is a priority for us, ladies and gentlemen. The last report we received is a little bit over 1.5% that self-reported. I think it was self-reported. There was another term they used. But that means going on the internet, or, you know, there's some census workers that are handing out these white bags that says U.S. Census on there. And you can fill that out, put it in an envelope, it's already stamped, and send it back, please. I plead with you, ladies and gentlemen. This is where we don't lax. I know people don't want to, you know, fill out stuff, but this is very important for you and your children and the future of the Navajo Nation. It brings needed resources. That's your fair share of resources coming back to our communities. It's not handouts. You know, everywhere they pay, we pay income tax. Don't you want some of that money back? Those monies are the ones that come back to the nation to help us. And here yet every year we have to beg for our money in Congress, right? To come back to our nation. So it's very important. Let's self-report. Let's come together. We're at home. You got a website. Look up at the U.S. Census website, 2020census.gov. 2020census.gov. Self-report. Please, you're at home. You all your family members are at home, especially this weekend. Let's do a challenge this weekend. Father's Day weekend. This weekend, we're all going to be at home. Our immediate families are going to be at home celebrating Father's Day. Fathers, stay home, please. That includes myself too, right? And I'll be home with my family. But I challenge you. I challenge you to go to the website and report your family to the U.S. Census. That's resources that come into the nation, and also political influence. The more people we can count, we be better represented, I think, you know? Because right now, people are saying Arizona could pick up one more House of Representative. And if that happens, the district becomes a little smaller. If you look at District 1, it is huge. It almost goes, I think it goes all the way to the Mexico border. And it encompasses so many tribes. It's one of the largest in the country. So one day, I say again, one day I envision, I hope in my lifetime, in our lifetime, we see a Navajo Congress person in Washington, D.C. Wouldn't that be awesome? That's why we're challenging you. We have the power to shape our future, ladies and gentlemen, and U.S. Census being counted is very important. The other thing, too, is during these legislations that have been approved by Congress, there's a program called Paycheck Protection Program, PPP. They call it that, PPP. There's monies available for those businesses that were hard hit from this pandemic. Apply to that. Google it. It's called Paycheck Protection Program. Navajo businesses, you should be applying. You know I heard some people say, put some of that $600 million for businesses. There's also another 130 billion that's open for everybody, businesses all across the country. Yes, 130 billion that Navajo businesses can apply for. You can apply for it. Don't just look at this $600 million. There's $130 billion. Tour guides out there, apply for it. Hotels, apply for it. I'm sure the casinos will apply for it. All these businesses that have been impacted heavily by this virus. June 30th is a deadline. You know, we keep talking about this over and over, but please share it with people out there. You know, because people will say, well, we didn't know that. We didn't know that. You know, it's because we don't share that information. We tell you information here. We want you to share it with others out there so the word gets out. And there's a fire on the north rim of the Grand Canyon, so it's going to affect traffic. And fires, you can see the smoke here. You can really see the smoke out here from those fires. There was a fire up on the mountains here, the Gachigay Chuska Mountains. There was one in a sawmill one time too. And so, you know, I know it's fireworks season. Fireworks are illegal anyway, and we have a fire restriction here on Navajo. We don't need another emergency. We already are dealing with the pandemic here. So just tell each other, no fires, please. No fires here on the Navajo Nation. So I know I've spoke a lot, and I'm going to jump back on after I give some time over to Miss Navajo. And Miss Navajo, Shandine Parrish, has done an outstanding job helping us out. She's been here with the food distribution, juggling her work. I mean, we're juggling works. We're doing teleconference meetings in between these and trying to mobilize. And it's not, don't get it wrong, you know. We're doing this, and we're doing our daily work every day, ladies and gentlemen, on your behalf, you know. And all these individuals put their own health and well-being on the line. These are our warriors, you know. Me as your leader, I would like to be shoulder to shoulder with our warriors here. And I hope it encourages them. And I hope it encourages you and brings some comfort of safety here on the Navajo Nation. Because we're all in this together. It could be easy for me to sit in Window Rock, right? While everybody else is doing this. But we are doing everything we can in our power. Wow. Somebody conked out, I think. They're right. So we're even helping tow vehicles for our citizens. You guys! Okay, they're going to give them a box and then pull them to the side over there to help them. So let's work together. The leaders are doing their very best throughout the Navajo Nation. And it's time for all of us to unite as one. All leaders, all people. Let's get this $600 million earmarked for waterline projects. Agriculture, livestock need water right now. We need more water for our farms. We need electricity and solar for our community members. We need broadband and internet. We need scholarships for healthcare healthcare professionals, and also our police officers, get more of those on the streets. And we also need money for economic development. 11 grocery stores. We need more here on the nation so that people can stay close by. There's no cure for COVID-19. There's no vaccine for COVID-19. We don't know what's going to happen. I pray, we all pray that no second wave comes here on Navajo. And it's up to us. We can do it. We can keep this virus from spreading like wildfire, wearing your mask, social distancing, washing your hands with soap and water. Let's continue to do that. Let's get that message out. Lastly, we're going to start a contest. I've seen some signs throughout the Navajo Nation. People are creative. Some put wear mask, social distance, and they draw it really nice. So if you've done that, go back over there, stand by your sign, take a picture of it, and send it to us. Eli will put the email address on the website or on the Facebook Live. Send it to us, and we're going to have a contest. We're going to have an incentive we'll have the people decide which sign is a good one. They're all good. But there's cream of the crop, right? And if you want to draw it, I saw a sign yesterday, Miss Navajo, people thanking Miss Navajo, thanking Vice President Lizer as well. And then we got this little prevention campaign. Don't back down. That means let's not let down. Don't back down because we're seeing our numbers come down here on Navajo. Let's not get complacent. Let's not say, oh, it's coming down. I don't have to wear my mask. I don't have to social distance. I don't have to, do the washing the hands of soap and water. Continue to do that. Let's not back down. Don't back down to this virus. This virus is wanting to consume us. But we, warriors in our communities, we as Native people, we're fighters. We're going to fight this monster that has come into our nation. And I know by what I see here today in Pinon, Arizona, and what I see in many places here, that people are coming together and helping each other out, and we will beat this monster. And it's all because of what you all are doing. We're all working together. We're all interconnected. Yes, I'm out there getting the message out, but you all are following those guidelines. And I want to say thank you. It's up to all of us. Let's beat this monster. Let's kick it out of our nation. And we have the power to do that. And our ancestors have done beat up many of those monsters in our past too. They overcame, and they came back to the nation, to our lands, and we will overcome, ladies and gentlemen. I know I didn't speak in Navajo today. Forgive me. I know probably has some comments saying, talk Navajo, but if you didn't hear it in Navajo, and if your elder wants to hear it in Navajo, translate it for them. I challenge you to get the message to our elders that don't understand now English language. And if you're the one that says speak Navajo and you don't speak Navajo, then learn it. Learn the language, because that's the way to fight this monster too. So thank you so much. I'm going to turn some time over to Miss Navajo here, and then we'll give it back to the studio. Back to Vice President.
Yeah, President knows. Yeah, it's also ado yeah it's shik ado shina shi kia ani ado na initially go do bashin squad cheat ni ada shi ko bahan ada shinala aquas also initially shi shandin parashina shi ado squad nation de na sha do na tus on dan do then a hoto dance shi ke ado shi na go ho bitch I can't initially. Good morning or good afternoon, everybody. We're out here in Pinon with the New Mexico National Guard and I believe it's the Army branch and the United States Air Force branch and the Office of the President, Navajo Nation Department of Transportation, and the Pinon chapter. So it's good to be out here in the middle of the Navajo Nation with all of the people here. We got here earlier and there were only a little bit of people, but the line has grown. So that's really good to know, and to know that your donations, if you contributed to the Navajo Nation, they're going to very rural parts of the Navajo Nation. Here in Pinon, there's a grocery store, but it services a lot of the more rural communities that don't have running water or they don't have electricity. So here, we're servicing more than one community, which is awesome. But I'll keep it really brief so we can go back to Vice President. I just want to encourage everybody to fill out the census. I believe there's a phone number. So if you're watching this on Facebook Live, you have internet access. So go to the U.S. Census website and share that phone number with the people that don't have internet, so that they can talk to a representative in the U.S. Census. And I know that the U.S. Census will be sending out papers through the mail so that you can also fill out the census that way. But I just want to say thank you to everybody. I'm wearing 2 masks today, and I just want to say thank you to this Crown Point Elementary School for my mask. I know a few people have been asking about it. There's a N95 filter in here, and then it has a wire up here. So it's a really awesome mask. I just want to say thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And Vice President, we're ready for you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Sean Dean. You guys are all doing a great job here. We'll join you in Fort Defiance here shortly at 3 o'clock. As you know, the team will be out in Fort Defiance at the chapter house, passing out food and cleaning supplies and PPE. So God bless them, and may our Lord keep them safe out there. So our president has certainly been stellar in his leadership of leading our Navajo Nation through this COVID-19 pandemic and the fight against this terror and this onslaught of the virus, and those that he mentioned, the 300 plus of our people that have perished. So our prayers certainly go with the families that are out there mourning and dealing with this, and our prayers of strength to go for them to get them through this trying time. Once again, we are coming up to another 57-hour weekend curfew. This one a full lockdown, where all the measures, our stores will be closed, including our convenience stores and the gas pumps. As you heard our president say, that all around our nation, even though our curve has flattened, all around our nation, there's spiking that's going on, predominantly in the Phoenix area, where recently and thankfully Governor Ducey has enacted the need for the citizens to wear masks. As you know, this has been a touchy subject. Some say it's not needed, and many say it is needed. And so I think research is showing that masks are effective and masks do work. And so, it's great that Governor Ducey has led Arizona in that charge. And New Mexico has been doing the same, as well as the Navajo Nation. And so we've been able to flatten our curve. We've been able to mitigate the health crisis here that is COVID-19 pandemic. So what does this mean? This 57-hour curfew, that's not the second. It's actually the 9th 57-hour weekend curfew that we've enacted. It simply means stay home. There will be road restrictions, checkpoints on every road corridor across our nation. And as well as I do, our people love to travel. They head for the border towns to get their goods. So this weekend, no Page, no Flagstaff, no Holbrook, no Winslow, no Gallup, no Farmington, no Albuquerque, no Blanding, no Phoenix. Please stay home. Our precautionary measures here that we enacted rather quickly after our first notices of someone testing positive here on Navajo, we beat projections, as our president said. Our epidemiologists on Navajo here projected a peak in mid-May, when in actuality, because of our early measures, our peak was in mid-April. And that's a shout out to you all that have been honoring and have been listening and wearing your mask and doing the social distancing and keeping clean and, staying home. Really, I think research and our own experiences has simply led us to believe that staying home is the best measure. Stay home, stay safe, save lives. And so our health measures worked. And so we have flattened the curve. Let us all be encouraged to that and for that. So all across our Navajo Nation, you, by the majority, have all worn your masks. You have maintained the social distancing protocols, and you have washed your hands for 20 seconds. You've sanitized and cleaned more frequently, and you've stayed local. You bought local, and you were all safe because you stayed local. And so as we come onto the doorsteps of another 57-hour curfew weekend, let me remind you, and we all know that we are all in this together. Our prayers go out to all of you across our land. We are thankful for the assistance that we have received, all the donations, all of the help that we've seen. We've had of our own people that live in the metropolitan areas of Phoenix and Albuquerque return home and bring in supplies, bring in PPE, bring in help and assistance, bring in their own churches and helping. And so we are deeply gratified, and we appreciate any and all of the help that has come. Yesterday, I was able to tour our Northern Navajo Medical Center in Shiprock, New Mexico. They're all doing a tremendous job out there. And their nurses and doctors and technicians have all been bolstered by Samaritan's Purse. Recently, Samaritan's Purse was in Italy, and then much more recently was in the Central Park of New York City when they were being hit very hard with the COVID-19 virus. And so the nurses, I was told, have been a deep blessing to the staff over at Northern Navajo Medical Center. They've come in and assisted, and they've actually, because of their prowess and because of their clinical experience, have been able to take a whole ward and offer assistance, give our nurses more time off, more time with their family. And there's also been a few miracles. There's been a lot of prayer, and there's been a lot of encouragement coming from the Billy Graham Evangelistic Association. Samaritan's Purse and their nurses and staff was able to meet with them and hear many encouraging stories. Many see the chaplain's RV parked outside of the Northern Medical Center, where they see the picture of Billy Graham and the Billy Graham Evangelistic Association logo on there, and they've come and turned into the parking lot just for that. Some are bringing memories of their grandmothers and their chays, listening to Billy Graham on the TV, watching him on TV, and even some said that their father and their grandfather interpreted Billy Graham's messages into Navajo. And so it's kind of a full circle now that Franklin Graham would bring the Samaritan's Purse out to Shiprock, and they are being such a blessing. There's 55 of their team on the ground in some shape or form. Just yesterday, we followed a van hauling food over to some churches and pastors' families. I understand that we've lost over 20 pastors, and so some of our churches are reeling. Some of our churches are looking for leadership. And so our prayers go out to these as well. And so lastly, I just want to give an encouraging word that you all out there in Facebook land and social media land, all across our land, you can help with this. You can help by staying home and acknowledging that is the best way to protect others from getting sick. The more closely you interact with others and the longer that interaction, the higher risk of COVID-19 spread. And so lastly, all the persons here on the Navajo Nation are required to stay home. Let me repeat that. All people on the Navajo Nation are required to stay home. But just know, if you have any questions, the Navajo Department of Health on their website, www.ndoh.org, has all of these measures where you can go and read and pass on the word for us. We're also preparing brochures and pamphlets out there to further pass along the vital information. And so, again, from the bottom of our hearts, of the Office of the President and Vice President here, Jonathan Nez, and his stellar leadership out in the field, and the notice today that our team will be out in Fort Defiance at the Fort Defiance chapter. If you are wanting to come out, we appreciate it. And so just thank you again. And up next, I want to introduce Dr. Perfilia Fowler, our Director of Human Resources, as she will give her updates and what her leadership in her department and division is doing and what she's providing for our Navajo Nation. So I appreciate you, Juan. May God bless you as God blesses our Navajo Nation. Dr. Fowler.
Thank you. Shady, my education, Aro Toricini, Bashichin, Asche, Dashinalido, Kapaha Edashiche, Aya, Sun and Schle. Todas Aholiero, Aro is Nasha, Aro Quatara Zande, Etalate Nan Nishigi, Aj, Latoshanan Nishido, Chinanish Nasht Itle. Gohashin Sagati, the Nebel Kahazoi, the Nedan Lini, the Inishi Aj, Bikidinshi, Aro Hashin Sagapehes Ani, Dan Lini, Dak Asan Lini, Edo Sato, Bikidinshi do, Be Nashwat do, Hashin Sago, Nashin Tinito, Doat Ene Behesan Dante, Juno Hashin Sagos Ahinda, and Ihinde Ni, Ako Hashini, Eshi Ani, the Neni Tlon Behes Ani, Anhi. Tahadil na abane kai akwande shikedo shidne yat eni hidini dole ado dan tsane da isno tsai na tsani da nohleni khashin tsako na tsani nohle ado itala deje large nkhata so kenny shitsale President Jonathan Nez, Vice President Myron Lizer, Chief of Staff, ado Deputy Staff, ado besh bansa ana nohleni Katnas Nilida Noslini, Ado Nal Gloshibinat Ani Noslini, Arnold Toyate, Ado Dant Anet, Tilke, Case, Twisani, the Noslini, the Isonot Ai, Nikido Ye. Shetnadishne, Hashin Sabo Kodo A creature, Banan Hini Kanle. Khala, a large Aya, Yod and Hini, Ne, Donna Kahani, Zenibina, Kwa Hashin Sabo Behes Ani, Lini, Hanada de Lianle. Hashin Saba Etla O Need and Nadalia Dik at da in Nishton lay the more Yajado, the more Adon lay the more Biskanj Dikinas Ago Danada del Kar. A cob Nahaha win Senibini Natan Hidi Nishik Edo Shidne. O Hajo Yego Bikahanos Edo Hajo the Nosen. Kala Nanish the Ea, how the Ea Ni Nanish O Hayu. Akohashin Sagodin Tilke dan Lini Squisani Elange o you Nahata Nish Edo Nahata Dinosen Salau dan Le Ado in Tessadan Leho Ado e Yaho at Eastern Day Jai Ado Azel Inja Dale Nish Izel in the Danle Ado Azet Ne Kaha Isht Edahal any ad Altho Hashine La Enal Tos and Lini Kon Kate the Yen Nikin Le Edo ba nakhabaha nosen ala anich etes kedoj eti kende Kashin saga ekon hinan nish nihilik enaz lahi nasko net nijet beha inil nido di no nan nish nihilik etahasia be enit edo lehta di no nakhab nihi madon nihi je nihi che nihi nalitan lini nakha so dadil zinahot anan nish lini nihilik etahasia Adon le nan nischen libeni yent nil tozi e ya hashin sagabin chgati ni. Benesh do di ni. Ado hashin saga e nan nischen linin hindelik enaz lani bancha ni zino yat e shik edo shidne. Ado nan nishchalak el ye hashin saga khanat ani hale. Nat ani lini hashid ahaho ahlo. Edo tzitisen ko al Not ani lini edo betahya jiltkita. Do ana anlet ibit yajiltkita. Hot anta ntind en shik edo shidne. Not ani lini zist Ado hashin saga ani do hot ego. O hajo is this ado hajo bik hajil en hot e yada in nish. Hashin saga e kompehes ani kijitkiho. Hashin saga e kwa enal yesala. Do yat eho a whichit on do is the auto hajil ego. Khashil Sakana Nishita Hatsana the Doliel. O you Nihitzel KJK Nanish, you cut your patenzen. Aj Atenta del Nish. Aj Yakoto Hashine La Kent Itle. A Kotina National Sinina Nishnik and Nazla Yega Bahosia. Ashi and Ni Hashini of North a year on administrative leave. Hon what did not so taro, hon what did so tar began hitchin Nazla. Hashine La Eco the Dale Nishit of Hotat Eda. Nihisha hate hon what the don't see how or you own what Nazda of a cabbage and the ill done. A cocodonat ani ni glini. O you con not Nishi Kodo Shiki Hachente. De Hashin Tokotona Nishon lay the Panahone can cut the Tatara, Otla as you go Tatara that I know the Hadne. A sheep and Hatan hit Elzi Chicago Shitne, A Napa Akosia, Hakonan hit on need a Hajon night of Kato, it's a header. Ni Quad return to work plan Hatnini Hatadelne. Juno Italia don Juno Quanano Nistole, Jo Yisipiniye. Hon what the Alabic so sad or lehon what the Ala Chianda Ben Hosnito, Jo Yisipiniye. A co Oshin Hajo, Ba Aquajeliado be Eta Hansensena, at Eheta. Hazado o Ahach, Huitnaga, do Sato, a Kato, Wasta. I need art andan hitness, Transhik Edo Shitne. Hashine la Yego, Ben Hitjay in the Hajish Gish. Hashine la Yatron Nihichahyadat on Hiata Ho up. A Quanda Ani Hitnit ad Yashik Edo Shitne. Ani Hitnot a Hosiada or Taha not Zena. Ot a did the costo job by Ibedishnini hits adult. Ni Yahan Nilde, or she yo Yahan Nili, what big Hako and Najilie dole. Jot Yadat, and then she Kado Shitne. Ni Hashine la on and Hintin. Ni is the Baaten. A Kunde, Ani he, Hajo, Ban Sokes, Ani Hipeta, a Hosiado, and Hipenta, Hinotin. A Kodi. Yesen Linigi a Kodo Hashin Soga Ani, the Nen Lini, Bella Ashtla and Lini, Kon Hashine Lan, his aunt Nayis La. Dosto Lake Kon, a Janeskeda. Yini Yitnahast e. Hashin Sogo, Hajanes Gile. Halate Allah Belady Kalaha Ilan Nahutzala, Joshin Winson. A Kondeshik Edo Shitne Hashto it Adole Hala Nido Bashed at the neat Eda Halate Kodo Nihitanen Lini Beje Yat Edole Halate Junon Sindadokwas Ni How much Hakain Lini Hutat Hutzagoda Bahin Hashin Zachet Banaj Chaco Yananat Ele Kunde Yegona Isna at Eshik Edo Shitne Ebenina Eta Atahosia Atati Ninde A creature Hotan Hitine Hashine La At We all grieve differently. Hashine La Bayi Chatle. Hashine la it's a khati dasle. Hashine la di kwabeje holon lini bitch eti khanle. Hashit di yinligi yenan hillo. A quande. Jobe eta akhlia. Ado chiyan ya at chitol. Sad ya at be chiya dathi. Yo on ne olianiki. Ashi need the queen da quata your cousin dashi sado yat ehoshi salch at the sofna no way. Ashe o kodonas go net midget. Couple of chin das clean or le. at koto naso teach di penda kai ato at hajo sa yat ehi behanatzi kad dale sa to yat e behatzi hat khadin best etal etahatne hajo I'm sorry that the holye the neni gline I'm sorry bishi shi paten ena o talche biga hata hiti nido sa to yat eilche hotel no ato le to yat to need to lesta jo artishna what zido be has osel ado ha keya khali khas ado hagan khas ado be has osel the ash ani hot ayest the ash ani hunst the ash ani nanst the shishnina jo hot an il kes it ashik edoshidna konte she o khodat edole nasko net akona khalchin da hollo ni hitso ken hinalike da hollo do da hodole pa atate akoshaban ses kesonde na tin khatina khegotash na khalchin da khedole hashit an has adole johot an il kes dishi alte ninde has huido sani nasko ne jetoyat eko pitenia yego becha ingne yego bechensket elne bechenzil dole an etat sodelzen et da do etenda we otla akhu be holni do la you be bisted do la you be nashin shista qala bido balashla it bido khishit abet nehya den shi qala khishi pomma khishi beje do need aben abet nestrada ena bido ba khasen ot nashit nestra nicht aben nan hinstchen do rielt nicht da ho ada okobeta akhulya be da ahiten senchik edo shidne o shi yugo ben hit khazotsi la nante anche nicht nantchen da holla ado benach di de nek ache yasti igi belagana ache ji o yo saho atela aje ya saho nanat akode nek ache nicht zaben da holla ashi eni hot ache yati odo bikist iti ho qad shile khache hilchle so di la ahel ninde la hatni do akona ihe ni hidini do le ade da isno sai jon hinanish ba ta hosia do nanishit ya ta ho wa de do you nanish ho wa de do nan tani holla do ba hosia alhelt al khana nela benda nihin benda hinotin shikedo shitne ado benist ehi kuichen kodo bendan hinika yo dan hini nishikedo shitne ado yego dat ido dat so dat zen jo ya benach init en ledi de neni glini go hat kodon hit hanana si do le do yego data hosia na he hashikedo shitne
Yat Benendo Hiha She Pearl Yelaman She Ado Tsenabitlinshle is a Lana Bushes Chindo Tobahanda Shiche Ado Hanala de Chanel She IC Twinnis Diza Ade Nasha Ado Tra Shelchinohodla Aslash Kido Nakit Eke Ado the nest Ado, I just want to say thank you to our leadership and to my colleagues who have been reporting and sharing information on the town halls. I'm very thankful for our leadership, President Jonathan Nez, Vice President Myron Leiser, and our first responders and medical professionals as well. We're going on a little bit close to 100 days of fighting COVID-19. And our administration and leadership have been extraordinary out in every community. After tomorrow, they'll have reached 110 chapters, and just very thankful to see that, and distributing food to thousands of Navajo families. The Division of Community Development has remained committed to the services and providing services to the Navajo people. We have been a support system to the HCOC, the Health Command Operations Center, and working closely with the 110 chapters. I have several updates to bring. One is for the 110 chapters, we are working on a FEMA recovery plan. We know that all 110 chapters have also been assisting their communities in one way or another, and we want to help and assist those chapters as to what they had expended on or utilized funds for, and help them recover and recoup those funds. So we have rolled out a FEMA recovery plan. So look to ASC and ASC staff for that information. Aronidia, Dr. Fowler has the reopening plans. So we're working diligently on a reopening plan as well for the chapters and for our Division of Community Development. And we're looking at and exploring all safety precautions, CDC recommendations, and educating our communities about what it will mean to be safe at our chapter houses moving forward. Again, we can have a robust plan, but if we're not following it, and if we're not exercising the guidelines in the reopening plans, we put people at risk. We put ourselves at risk and exposure for COVID-19. And again, we just want people to be safe. Also, prematurely speaking, we are working with partners such as Verizon to advocate and get services of Wi-Fi at the 110 chapters. We're hoping that will happen soon, and we'd like to run a pilot as to expanding our Wi-Fi capacity at all 110 chapters. So look for more information on that as well. We'll be putting that information out on partnerships with Verizon. And one last thing I want to share is we have been and have on the Division of Community Development website information on COVID-19 cases and by agencies. We also have a resource listing. Resource listing is for community members and chapter staff and officials on grant opportunities, training opportunities, webinars. This is the time to really look for those resources and bring those resources to our local communities. So look at the Division of Community Development website for updated information and updated resources. Also on the website, you'll see information on Census. That has been a conversation and a topic. There was information shared this week. We have 76,000 identified homes, and less than 5% have self-responded. So I know we can do better. I know we can, and it's important. It's important to be counted. We utilize those numbers for infrastructure. We utilize those numbers in identifying needs and addressing those needs. And so it's important that we self-respond and be active in the census. Also coming up is the state elections. Look to the Division of Community Development website for additional information on polling sites and polling locations and dates. So we're working with state election offices on those elections that are coming up. We are also reaching out to the local chapters in the Navajo County, Coconino County, and Apache County as points of contacts for those upcoming elections. So I want to keep it brief, but I also want just to share that we are going into a 57-hour lockdown. And the only way I process that is for our safety. It is for our safety to be home, to be safe, to be in a location where we know it is a controlled environment, meaning that you, by being home, you are safe, or you know that individuals coming in and around your home have not been traveling to hotspots. And again, we've done an extraordinary job working with the communities and trying really hard to get the numbers down, to get those decreases down. And so I commend the agencies, I commend the chapters, our leadership for really communicating. And of course, the Office of the President and Vice President and our colleagues on communicating with the Navajo Nation people to get our numbers down. And now we're going into a 57-hour lockdown, and it's for our safety. It's for our safety. It's for the safety of our elders. It's for the safety of our children, and our own personal safety. So continue to abide by the 57-hour lockdown. That doesn't mean you drive to Phoenix or Albuquerque, or you leave somewhere out of town. It means we stay home and we decrease movement. When we decrease movement, we slow the spread of COVID-19. Also by wearing our masks. Our masks here, we wear our masks into every public place. Anytime you leave home, and our gloves in our workplaces. And it's just for our own protection. It's for our protection for one another and making sure that we take care of ourselves and each other. So I want to end there and also appreciate, again, our frontline workers, our public health employees, our CHRs, our PHNs, our police officers. I know that this coming weekend, we will be assisting. We will be assisting with the 57-hour lockdown and taking as a member of the Navajo Nation, taking on responsibility and being proactive to assist our local communities in decreasing this. It's still among us. COVID-19 is still among us, and we still have quite a bit of work to do, and working in partnership to decrease the spread. So continue to look out for your neighbors. Continue to take care of elders in and around your home, and look out for one another. Adal Juliando, take care. So ahiaha, and I'll turn over the time to Dr. Jill Jim. Ahiaha.
I wanted to say good afternoon. This is Dr. Jill Jim with the Department of Health. I'm the Executive Director. I just wanted to welcome all the listeners. It's almost noontime. I just wanted to reemphasize the 57-hour lockdown this weekend, as Dr. Yoloman indicated. It's for our own safety in regards to stopping and reducing the spread of COVID-19. And I also want to ensure that it is very critical in this time of the pandemic, because we see the states around us, especially in Arizona, hitting over 2,000 cases yesterday, and then Utah continuing to see the impact. And I think one of the general messages that is very important is the CDC recommendations to maintain and covering your mouth and your nose out in public. And it's very important that even though you're not required to for places that you might go to, it's very important that you're protecting yourself. Others might see you as not as maybe indicating, or they might not see you as why is this person wearing a mask, but really it's very important for yourself and your family and others. So just continue to wear your cloth mask out in public, no matter where you're at, in either in the city and Farmington or in the border town areas such as Winslow. We do have high rates still in areas in Chinle, Winslow, and Fort Defiance areas. So in the Winslow as a border town, I encourage you guys who are traveling there to work or to get groceries to maintain wearing your mask while you're out in public all the time as well. So that's just one important message that we continue to enforce everyone to wear. And it's wearing your mask in public are very important for any age group, especially if you're going as a family. Make sure that everyone has a cloth mask or a disposable one. The only ones that CDC recommends not wearing a mask are for children that are under 2 years old, or either individuals that might have problems with breathing, or either might have the inability to put on or take off a mask. So those are just kind of the recommendations we need to still consider. Other things as a reminder, as we're dealing with allergy season or either the COVID-19 symptoms, those still continue to be just coughing. People are you might see them coughing. Sometimes that I think it might be related to allergies, but fever and chills are still a symptom of COVID-19. Headache, muscle pain or body aches, shortness of breath or difficulty breathing, sore throat, new loss of taste or smell, fatigue, congestion or runny nose, diarrhea, nausea or vomiting, and then some other medical care that you need immediately, or when you have trouble breathing, persistent pain or pressure in the chest, new confusion, inability to wake up or stay awake, flushed lips or face as well. So those are just some common reminders to everyone as we are here listening to look out for those signs and symptoms, and to just remind everyone that those are what we need to look out for either people shouldn't be visiting, but just to recognize and look out for those. But the individuals that are most at risk in our population based on our epidemiology data are older individuals, older than 60 years of age, especially among men, are passing on from COVID-19. So that's very important to continue to support the population gender-wise, both men and females, but to encourage seeking medical attention, especially if you have COVID-19 in a timely manner. So that's very important to protect your family members. Also, in the younger generation, I think between 18 to 60, there's high numbers in those areas. I think we're quite past 3,000 individuals that have recovered from COVID-19, and everyone experiences disease very differently. So, and we always have talked about asymptomatic, meaning that you can have COVID-19 a couple days before where you have no signs and symptoms, and your ability to spread or infect another person is very high during that time period. Also, with the symptomatic is when you're showing signs and symptoms of COVID-19. And so you're either experiencing what I indicated, a cough, fatigue, or sore throat, and it can be at varying stage, but you're very much contagious to others. And so just keeping in mind to self-quarantine or either self-isolate depending on that. So I just want to recommend those signs and symptoms as a reminder. Also, the other individuals that are often at risk are those that are living in nursing homes, obviously, people with underlying health conditions, lung disease, severe asthma, heart conditions, those that are immunocompromised as well are also another risk factor. Those that recently went through cancer treatment, or those individuals that are also obese with a body mass index of 40 or higher, individuals with diabetes, individuals with chronic kidney disease, or individuals that are going through dialysis with chronic kidney disease or liver disease is another factor. People with asthma conditions are also at higher risk as well. So just as a reminder to the public on some of these very important messages to continue to stop the spread of COVID-19, and by keeping our numbers down, you can need to maintain your 6 feet of physical, which we often refer to as social distancing. So 6 feet of physical distance anywhere you go in the public, in the grocery store, in the post office, and also in your own home if someone else is sick. Cover your cough and sneeze with a tissue. Make sure you throw it away in the trash can after you cough or sneeze in the tissue, and make sure you wash your hands afterwards. If you don't have a tissue, use your arm or sleeve, and definitely not your hand. And I already re-emphasize wearing the face mask at all times. And also do not touch your eyes or nose or mouth at any time, especially if your hands are not washed. Clean and disinfect commonly used surfaces and things. Those could be your general phone, your laptop. If you're at work, you might have a mug that you carry with you all the time. It might be in your vehicle to sanitize your vehicle when you go grocery shopping. So there's a lot of basic cleaning that needs to happen on a daily basis. And so just as a reminder, disinfect and clean. Stay home and self-isolate when you're sick, as I mentioned earlier. And also regularly wash your hands with soap and water for at least 20 seconds. And also make that also a family activity, an event every single day. Washing your hands is something that you remind your children, your kids, your nieces, your nephews, anybody, just to wash your hand after they play, or after, or either after they play video games, before they eat. Anytime you want to eat snacks, if the kids come out from the outside and you have snacks for them, those are the times to reinforce cleaning their hand, washing their hand, and making this a daily routine, because the pandemic right now, there's no treatment, it's not going away. So just as a reminder, these are daily habits that we have to adapt to, and also encourage others as well to keep our people safe. Our Navajo people, our elders are very important. Our kids are very important. And then as the 57-hour lockdown happens, I mean, you can talk to people that are going off the reservation and say, this is a lockdown, it's definitely a public health order, that there's no reason to go to Phoenix, Albuquerque, as Dr. Yoloman mentioned. And so those reasons should be that you're protecting everyone. So just encouraging everyone to stay home, and then just plan and prepare. Plan and prepare is what our messaging are going to be. Doesn't mean that we should all run to the grocery store tomorrow. Today is Thursday. We should be preparing right now for the weekend, and then also getting things a little bit, if you don't have any food as well. I don't know, to some extent the gas stations might not be open, so if you're likely going to risk yourself driving around this weekend, you might get yourself stranded. So just as a reminder, this is very important as we're trying to encourage everyone to stay safe, so that we can continue to look at a downward trend of this pandemic on the Navajo Nation. And I just want to thank all the presenters today and President for going out to the communities today to offer resources for families and individuals that are in need. Our command center will be open through the weekend. If there's any emergency assistance that is needed, make sure you call the 928-871-7014. Once again, the phone number is 928-871-7014. And especially if you are impacted by COVID-19 and you need help with resources, we definitely need you to call if there's an emergency to assist with your needs as well. So I just want to thank everyone and have a good afternoon.